Shus, Rabbi Say, Loim de Teire, Talmid Chachomim, Bnei Teire, Chayvei Teire. The share today will be on the Indian of Schabros of two mitzvahs. It will become clear as we get into the Indian, what the Indian is about. The Ramah Paskins in Hilchos Kriyas Sefer Torah, Simen Kuf Mem Aleph, Siv Zayin. B'lo yered ad she'ola kva haroid likris achov. When there's a number of kruyim, like every Kriyas Torah is a number of kruyim, it's either Gimel kruyim, or Dalet kruyim, or Zayin kruyim. So each one, each kaira, each oile is oile for his kriya, for his chelik. He should not leave the bima, lo yered, he should not leave the Sefer Torah and the bima, ad she'ola kva haroid likris achov, like the next oil is there already. And that's how we're noyik. Not too many people know the reason for it, but that's how we're noyik, that you don't leave the bima, the Sefer Torah, till the next oil is there. And Beikir Yisoid is to wait till he comes. We wait till after he finishes Aliyah, his Kriya, the next oil, because we don't want people looking to get back to their place while the Balkair is laning. It's hard to listen, Kedin, b'shas you're looking to get back to your place. That's why you wait till the next oil finished his Kriya. The Goyin says on this halacha, the Mokir is a Mishnah Psochim, and I'll read the Mishnah in a moment. Makabel Thamolei, it's a Maril, B'Shem Mordche, and the Goyin also Metzayin to look at the end of Siman Kuf Mem Zayin. There's another halacha in Ramah, also in Hilchos Kriyas Sefer Torah, and the Ramah says that the day b'yom sheyesh bo shnei Sefer Torah, when we take our two Sefer Torah, like we do in the entire Yontif, the halacha is ein mesalkan harishayna, you don't make harba on the first Sefer Torah that you just finished laning, ad shekvar hinichu hashniya ala shulchan. You don't make the harba on the first one until you put down the other Sefer Torah, and also we're knowing like that. Here the Ramah says the reason for it. Yesichu da'to min ha'mitzvos. There shouldn't be a hesach hadas when you're doing two mitzvahs one after the other. There shouldn't be a hesach hadas between the two mitzvahs. And the kavanah of the Ramah is that the tzibur is still mekusha to the first kriya, to the first Sefer Torah, to the first mitzvah. When I'm a sulik from the first mitzvah, called man, the Sefer Torah is still on the bima. When we magbiyah the Sefer Torah, that we learn the first kriya, that's when we become a sulik from the first mitzvah. And the connection to the second kriya, we get that connection with putting the Sefer Torah on the bima. Even before we start laning, if the Sefer Torah is ready to be laned, and it's on the bima already, then we get the connection to the second mitzvah. So we don't want hesach hadas between two mitzvahs. We want the connection of the two mitzvahs. So you don't become a sulik from the first kriya till we're already connected to the second kriya. And that's also the inyan of the first Ramah in Siman Kuf Mem Aleph, that the oiler should not leave the bima, the Sefer Torah, till the next oiler reaches to the bima, to the Sefer Torah. And the same idea, because there's two chalokim of Kriyas Torah, each oiler is doing a different portion, different chalik of Kriyas Torah. We want these two chalokim to be connected. The tzibur is not mesulik from the kriya of the first oiler. Kolzman, the first oiler, is still connected to the Sefer Torah, standing by the bima. So the tzibur is not mesulik. And the connection to the second kriya is, the next kriya is when the oiler reaches there. when he gets to the bima. So we connect these two chalokim of the kriya by the fact that the connection that the tzibur gets to the second kriya is while they're still connected to the first kriya through the oiler standing there that finished the kriya and he's still standing there. And the inyan is there shouldn't be a hefsek between the two mitzvahs. What's the mokkeh? The mokkeh is the Mishnah in Pesach. The Mishnah Pesach of Samach Daled the Seder of Shchita and Kabbalah and the Halachas Adam to be shofech the dam on the Mizbeach in Korban Pesach. There were Kemuven, there were Het HaShecht, the Pesachim of ganz Klal Yisrael, there were a lot of Pesachim. So the Seder was that a Yisrael was shochet, and the Kohen that was standing near the Mokum HaShchita was Mekabel the dam, and he gave it l'chaveiroi, and there was a whole shura of koyanim from the Mokum HaShchita till the Mokum HaMizbeach, till the Shvicha, and each kohen gave it over the dam to the next kohen. The Mishnah says, in the Seder of the kohenim on the line, how they had to deal with the dam, steht in the Mishnah, u'mekabelus ha'molei u'machzes ha'reikon, which means that the kohenim on the line, each kohen had to deal with the kohen that's closer to the shchita and with the kohen that's closer to the mizbeach. From the kohen that's closer to the shchita, he had two dealings with him. He had to mekabel the molei, a mizrach that's coming from the Mokum HaShchita, that's the molei that's ready to go to the mizbeach. There should be nishbach on the mizbeach, and he had to also return a kli reikon that he received from the kohenim closer to the mizbeach to bring it back to the Mokum HaShchita because they needed kseda to get back the reikon to be able to have more kalim, more mizrokos, to be mekabel adam and to send it to the mizbeach for a shvicha. So he had two functions. He had to the kohen that's dealing with the kohen that's closer than him to the Mokum HaShchita, he had to be mekabel amolei, and he had to return an empty mizrach. What do you do first? Steht in the Mishnah, the Seder is mekabel amolei u'marzos ha'reikon. First, he receives the molei, then he returns the reikon, not the other way. Not that he receives the reikon, he gives over the reikon, and then he's mekabel the molei. He passes on the reikon, and then he's mekabel the molei the other way. He's mekabel the molei first, and then he's machzir the reikon. So the way the Maril and the Ramah are making the Schustal, the understanding the kavona, the oimik of this Indian is that this kohen shouldn't be mesulik from one mitzvah before he starts the second mitzvah. Each kohen on the line, when he's mekabel the molei, he's starting a new mitzvah of Elochas Adam, of the molei. That's he's being moilchit towards the mizbeach for shvicha. He's also being oisig in siluk, becoming masulik from the shvicha that was done already. By the fact that he's giving over the reikon, he's being becoming masulik for a mitzvah that was done already. So there's a disconnection to a mitzvah and a reconnection to a mitzvah, a new connection to a new mitzvah. So the din is not to disconnect first and then reconnect afterwards. Then in between, he's not connected to any mitzvah. There's a chadas between the two mitzvahs. Rather, he should be mekabel the molei while he still has the reikon beyodoi and is still connected to the mitzvah of shvicha and to connect the two mitzvahs. That's the idea of this Mishnah, and this is the mark of the Ramah's two dinim in Chisa Sefer Torah. One, that the oiler should not leave till the new oiler, the next oiler, reached the bima, the Mokum HaKriya, And the second din, that it should not be magbia the first Sefer Torah till you lay down the other Sefer Torah on the bima. Now the Magavrom in Simukov Mem Zayin is a very strong kasha. It's two kashas. I want to start with the first kasha. Is a kasha that l'chayre the Gemara in Samad with Beis is verkehrt in this Ramo, this Maril. Because the Gemara explains the Seder, Aval Ipchaloi, Kibbutz HaMolei U'Marzas HaReikon. Aval Ipchaloi, sagt die Gemara, Mesaila der Shlokish, the Omer Shlokish, Eim Avil Al HaMitzvahs. The Indian is Eim Avil Al HaMitzvah. Rashi explains, the Mchimoshit Lei Hai, when the Kohen that's closer to the Mokem HaShrita is Moshit, he sticks his hand out to give it to him. Miyad boy the kabule. He has to miyad right there and then. He cannot be mashit. He can't be ma'acheret. He has to immediately miyad be makabel what he's passing to him. Why? The me'im avila mitzvahs shmacha shebala yoda. That's the me'im avila mitzvahs. If a mitzvah is bala yoda, you have to do it immediately, not to be ma'acheret. So it's clone the Gemara that the reason of the Seder be makabel amolei before Marza Reikon and not doing it the other way, avlip chaloi, not returning the Reikon, because those few moments of Achzoros HaReikon is a get of Ma'aval HaMitzvahs. He's being Ma'acher HaMitzvah, that's Bala Yoda. Bibalt, he's piercing it to you, he's moishing it to you. So it's called a Bala Yoda, you're not allowed to be Ma'aval HaMitzvahs. So you see, Claude is no Indian. The Indian is not to connect the two mitzvahs of the previous Shvicha and the next Halochas Adam. That's not the Indian. The Indian is Eim Aviran Ala Mitzvahs. Before we try to be Miyashim B'Siyat HaShmaya, the Meravolim is Kashet Atmiyah Atzuma the Mosches Vakert. I want to be medayik in Rambam that the Rambam understands this Mishnah like the Maril and the Ramon, not like the Magen Avraham, Mishek portion of the Gemara. The Rambam brings this Mishnah in Perek Av called Pesach, Halacha Yedalet. The Rambam says, Shochet HaShoichet, the Kibbel HaKoyen, that's the first Koyen, standing near the Mokem HaShrita, Nois L'Chaver V'Chaver L'Chaveroi, Ad She'igi Adam Etzel Koyen HaKol V'Mizbeach. Now the Mishnah Seder is, after the Mishnah says that there's a lot of Koyenim and you give over one to the other, the Mishnah right away, before the Mishnah gets to the Shvicha, the Mishnah says already, the Seder or Makabel Amolei or Marzas HaReikon. The Rambam Mashanda the Seder. The Rambam brings first that you Makabel and this one kohen is the next. Ad shegiya Adam esel kohen hakol mizbeach shoifroi. He talks about the Shvicha. When he's done with the Shvicha, then he says the halacha of the Seder Makabel mizrak echad molei v'achach Marzas HaReikon. When he finishes with the Shvich, he says the Seder. That first you Makabel the Molei, and then you Marzah the Reikon. And here's Daiti, the Rambam's Mashanda the Seder of the Mishnah for a reason. And it's very, very meduik in Rambam that this Seder is only on the last Kohen that makes the Shvicha. There's not a Seder for all the Kohenim on the line. Not every Kohen on the line, when he deals with the Kohen that's closer to the Shrita, and he's returning a reikon and accepting a mole, has this din, the seder, to accept the Moli before he returns the Reikon. It's only a halacha on the last Kohen that he's making the Shvicha, and has to return the Reikon back to the Makam HaShrita through all the Kohenim on the line, and he also has to Mekabel Nu Dam to make the Shvicha. Only he has this din of Machze Mekabel Samole first, V'akach Machze Sareikon. Another digduk, besides that he changed his Eid in the Mishnah, the Rambam says a Vov, puts a Vov, when he says the halacha that is Mekabel, the Moli first, is Umekabel. It's mashma very strong that he means to connect it, that he means to be talking, he's talking about the Shofech. He's not talking about all the Kohenim on the line. Umekabel means to Mechaber, to the Shofech, that his Kavanah is only on the Shofech, that the Shofech, he has the Seder of Mekabel first, and then Hachzoras Areikon. And the reason for that is very understandable, moving, according to the Ramon Maril's Mahalach in this Mishnah, of connecting two mitzvahs, where you be Masula for one mitzvah, and be starting a connection to another mitzvah, you connect them. Because the Rambam Shita is that, and it's very, very moving, that the only kohen here that's still connected to the dam, to the mitzvah that passed already, the shvicha, is only the kohen that made the shvicha. Because the kohen that made the shvicha, that has the reikon in his hand, it's here in his hand, left over from when he had it, mole, from when he was, from the time that he was shayfich, it's still in the same hand, the same yad that he made the shvicha with. So he's still connected to the shvicha. Mashenkin, the kohenim on the rest of the line that are receiving this reikon when it's empty already, how is he connected to the shvicha that was done? His connection started to a mizrach reikon. His connection to this mizrach, the aschol of the connection was a mizrach reikon. The kohen that made the shvicha, he connected this mizrach when it was mole, and he did a mitzvah with it. So he's not masulik from that mitzvah. Kolzman, he has the reikon beyodoi. Could this there b'teires shirayim left over from the mitzvah that he did? That's why he's still connected. Mashenkin, the rest of the kohenim on the line, they're connecting to a mizrach reikon. And what shaykhs do they have with the shvicha? How are they connected to the shvicha? So maybe on them there's no din. What's the problem if he's machzor reikon before he's mekabel the mole? Even if he's mekabel the mole when he has the reikon, he's anyway not connected to the shvicha that passed already. That's why the Rambam is meduyik, moed, meduyik, that he means takadafke the kohen hashayfich. He has the seder. But if the pshat would be like smash from the Gemara, like the Maravron's mechir from the Gemara, that the pshat is that when somebody's moishe to you a chefta shel mitzvah, there's a din you have to do it immediately, not to be over in mavin ala mitzvahs. So avada, just like the kohen hashayfich is, when he's receiving a mole, there's a mitzvah b'al yodei to mekabel dam, to get the dam to v'shvicha. So same thing, not any less. There's a mitzvah b'al yodei, all the kohenim on the line, when they're receiving a dam, and there's a moishit, it's b'al yodei, dam to mekayim halacha's adam. What is the difference? So there's no mokum to mechalik from the kohen hashayfich and the rest of the kohenim on the line. The only mokum to mechalik between the kohenim hashayfich, the kohen hashayfich and the rest of the kohenim, if you go to Maril and the Ramah, that the Indian is to connect, not to lose the connection of a previous mitzvah before you start the connection to the new mitzvah. They should be mechubah, the two mitzvahs should be mechubah. So it's Meduik and Rambam that the time is the Ramah and the Maril, not like it says in the Gemara. I want to also medayik, the Rambam Pim Shnais is also very stark meduyik like the Maril. Vamu, Mekabel Samolo Masa Reikon, Loidiacho Hazrizos Vacharizos Shel HaMitzvah, to show how the Koyanim Wazores and Acharitzos in the Kiyum HaMitzvah of the Lochs Adam. Ki lo yoya marzik as a mizrak. The Kohen didn't return the mizrak. He held on to it. That's Reikon. Ad shehoy lekeach as hasheni. He held on to the Reikon until he was mekabel the mole. Now, if the pshat is like the Magen Avraham, like Smash from the Gemara, that you have to receive miyad. So the point is not that he held on to the Reikon. The point is that he didn't waste time. He didn't use out the time for anything else, but then being makabel, the dam that the kohen that closer to the shechita was Moshe to Yodai. So he should have left out, should have talked about the Reikon. He should have said that he's miyad. The Rambam should have made the point of the charitzas and the zrizas was that he was makabel miyad. Not lo yoya machze, he didn't return the Reikon. He was makabel the moli before he returned the Reikon. He should have made the point at Gosha on the Kabbalas HaMoli. And he makes the point that he held on to the Reikon. It's mashma that the chshivas over here is that the Reikon is still there. If the pshat is where the Magen Avraham learns, it's not the Reikon is there, it's not a Maila. The Maila is that they didn't use out the time for Achzoras HaReikon. And he was makabel the Mola Miyad. But the fact that the Reikon is Beyoda is not any chshivas. The Rambam makes the Adgosh of the chshivas is there still has the Reikon. Because that connects him to the Friedige Mitzvah. So we have a Rambam science, Eif HaYad, and Sayin Pish Vashnayis, that's very stark Moira, like the pshat of the Maril and the Ramah. And before we go weiter, I want to explain Pshat Rishmaya, what's the Kavanah of the Maril and the Ramah, and what's the chshivas of connecting two mitzvahs, Shlo Yisiach Daitem and mitzvahs, which is the Lashon of the Ramah in Kuf Mem Zayin. Shlo Yisiach Daitem and mitzvahs. What is the idea? And this idea I want to tell you what you do in Nefesh HaChaim in Shar Aleph, Perek Aleph, Perek Dalet, in the Hago, Shar Aleph, Perek Vav, Shar Aleph, Perek Vav in the Hago. He says there, I don't have it in front of me right now, but he says there, Bekitza, that when a person is Ola B'Daito, he lasts his mitzvah, even before he made a commitment, he's considering to do a mitzvah, miyad, is shoyra on him a kedusha from the shoyra mitzvah, and he calls it, the Heilig Nefesh HaChaim calls it Arei Makif, and that's shoyra on him, and that's encourage the person to go on with the achona to the mitzvah, and as he moves on with the achona, the kedusha grows on him, and he gives him siyata d'shmaya to be able to finish it, and cheshik, and the slavus to be able to do the mitzvah. And it keeps growing on him as he goes on with the achon of the mitzvah, the kedusha keeps growing on him. And the Chaim fears us that by the time he's ready to finish the mitzvah, there is so much kedusha that's shared on him that is actually in Gan Eden. And in Perek Yud Beis, in Shar Aleph, he mentions this again, and over there he says that the main kedusha that was shared on him throughout the Aschola of Ola B'Daito till the Gemara Mitzvah leaves him when he finishes the mitzvah. When he completes the mitzvah, the kedusha leaves him. But it's mavuya that there's a roshim that remains, because the Nefesh HaChaim says in a few places that this is the inyan of mitzvah geras mitzvah, that the kedusha that's left on the person is moishech him, encourages him, and gives him a cheshik to do the same mitzvah again or other mitzvahs. But the main chelik of the kedusha leaves him when the mitzvah is over. Now, there's a very poshit l'chayre that besides that the kedusha encourages him and helps him, it's also meroimim the madreg of the mitzvah. Kamuv me'elav, a person that's in Gan Eden, and he's so much kedusha that's makif him, he's in a different madrega, and his madrega is higher. So his madrega is meroimim the kiyam mitzvah also. That sees the mitzvah, madrega is that sees the mitzvah. Ken zayin. The union of connecting the two mitzvahs is that the kedushas become connected. And once the kedushas become connected, the first kedusha doesn't leave him till the second kedusha is ready to leave him. So the second mitzvah that's done when both kedushas are connected, there's a double kedusha. It's another siyata d'shmaya, another zrizus, another encouragement, another esroimimis, another madrega of esroimimis in the Asiyas HaMitzvahs. That's the union of the Yisiach Da'atoi min HaMitzvahs. Now I want to try to miyashiv the Maravom's first kasha first. I didn't say the other kasha, I didn't say it. We'll get there soon. The Maravom is from the Gemara's Fakert. The Gemara says, Alip chaloi, Mesayle l'shlokish, Domer l'shlokish, Mavir ala mitzvahs. According to the Maril and the Ramo, this has nothing to do with Mavir ala mitzvahs. It's a different Indian. The Indian is the chibur of Kedusha, like we're explaining it. What does that have to do with Mavir ala mitzvahs? And here's Daiti, I want to say Pshat in the Gemara, according to the Ramo and the Maril. It's a vuya here that when a person is oisig in two mitzvahs, he's finishing one and starting a second one, there's a din like Yisiach Da'atoi min mitzvahs, they should be connected. Like we just learned in the Ramo and the Maril and in the Rambam's Pshat in the Mishnah of Makabel Thamol and Marzas HaReikon. V'achach Marzas HaReikon. Yitochen that this din is only shayach when the one that's finishing one mitzvah, starting the second mitzvah, before he starts the second mitzvah, and he's still not finished with the first mitzvah, it's already mutl on him. It's already, the second mitzvah is already his mitzvah, and it's mutl on him that he has to mekayim it. But if it's a mitzvah that's nothing to do with him, it's the efshas ha'acherim. But he's planning, when he finishes this mitzvah, he's going to do another mitzvah. But it's not his mitzvah. Somebody else can do it. But he's planning to do it. Vibalt, b'shas, he's completing the first mitzvah. Al pidin, it's not his mitzvah yet. It's something that's loy ba'olam. He's planning to miniskak to another mitzvah. It's not considered that mitzvah's here yet. So it doesn't shafa seder, there's no seder yet to connect them, the two mitzvahs. There's a seder and two mitzvahs that they should be connected. It's only when before you finish the first mitzvah, there's already a second mitzvah, that's his mitzvah, that's mutal on him. So at Tzibur, that's oisik in Kriyas HaTorah, avad it's mutal on the Tzibur, all the chalokim of Kriyas HaTorah, all the Zayin Kruyim, the Kriya both Sefer Torah, it's mutal on the Tzibur, b'shas is still learning, and b'shas not mesulik from the first Sefer Torah, it's already mutal on them, the Kriya of the second Sefer Torah. So then there's a Seder, to connect them, they should be connected. Yisiach Da'atoi min mitzvahs. Mashenkein, the Koyanim on the line, he has dam of a reikon, and he's connected to the shvicha. He's not finished with being mesul from the shvicha. He's planning to mekabel more dam from the kohen that's closer to the